Today we're doing 7.8 and it's about scale models, and this will be the last lesson for chapter 7. The first definition that we need to get down is scale model. A scale model is a three-dimensional model that accurately represents a solid object. So, for example, if you have been to the Field Museum, sometimes they have scale models in there of different buildings that are around, obviously that are scaled down in size. You can take a small object, for example, a bug, and you might want to scale it up in order to see the parts and what they accurately represent. So the first thing that we're going to try is we're going to tell whether each scale reduces, enlarges, or preserves the size of the actual object. So what they're going to give you is a conversion or your scale that you would use. So for example, in A, we're saying that 1 yard would represent 1 foot. And when we say it reduces, this makes it smaller. Enlarges makes it bigger. And preserve means it stays the same. So what we're going to first do is we're going to write our conversion as a ratio. So we can write 1 yard over 1 foot. And we're going to make a proportion, so we want them to be equal. So what we need to do is have the same unit. So there are 3 feet in 1 yard. So we can multiply this by 3 to change this to 3 feet over 1 foot. And since this would equal 3, because 3 divided by 1 is 3, this means it's 3 times as big. So it enlarges the object. So all we're going to do is take whatever conversion there, and we're going to write it as a ratio first, and then we're going to make the conversion across. So if you get a whole number, it makes it bigger. If it scales to 1, it would preserve or stay the same. If you got something like 1 over 3, that would mean it would make it smaller. So let's try another one. Here's our scale. So we're going to do 100 centimeters over 1 meter. And you can use your conversion chart that we use at the beginning of the chapter to help you with this. Looking at your conversion chart tells you that 1 centimeter equals 0.01 meters. And since meters is in the denominator, we want to keep 1 meter in the denominator. So we're going to multiply our numerator by 0.01. And that's just converting it to meters. And when you do that, you end up getting 1. And 1 over 1 equals 1. So since this equals 1, it's going to keep it the same, or it's going to preserve the object. Let's try something else. It says, what scale factor relates 20-inch scale model to an 80-foot Apatosaurus? I'm assuming this is some kind of dinosaur. So what we're going to do is, just like we were doing before, we're always going to go scale over actual. So we're going to do 20 inches over 80 feet. And we want to just simplify that first. So we can divide the top and bottom by 20 to get that ratio in simplest form. So we know 1 inch equals 4 feet. And we always want to keep our units the same. And since we already have that 1 right here, we're going to keep 1 inch. Now you need to look at your conversion chart. How can you go from inches to feet so that we have inches on top and bottom? Well, we're going to multiply this by 12 because 12 inches equals 1 foot. So if you multiply this by 12, we know that 4 feet is the same thing as 48 inches. So our scale is 1 over 48, or it's 1 to 48. You can write it either way. So let's try something else. This says a model of a 27-foot tall house was made using the scale of 2 inches to 3 feet. What is the height of the model? So we're going to keep up with what we've been doing of scale over actual. So let's plug in what we know. Here's our scale of 2 inches, represents 3 feet. And what do we know? Well, we know that we have a 27-foot tall house. And if you look here, we want our units to be in the same place. So the same in the numerator and same in the denominator. So we can put 27 feet here. And this is our unknown because we want to know what is the height of the scale model. So we can put our x there. And now we can just cross multiply. So we get 3x equals 2 times 27. So go ahead, pause the video and see if you can figure this out. What you should have done is gotten 3x equals 54, divide by 3, and x equals 18. Now if we're looking up here, what unit goes with that top? Well, inches. So 18 inches represents 27 feet in the model.